Belief has nothing to do with reality. You can change or alter your own beliefs at any time to support your self-discipline and the outcomes you like to see that self-discipline lead to. Beliefs are the foundation of the saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Beliefs add the power which fires our goals, willpower, and motivation. The reason that beliefs are such an important part of our existence is that they control behavior. If you want to develop self-discipline, you need to control the things you believe in. You want to achieve your potential. Yet by changing a belief, you can change behavior. By changing beliefs, you can change your commitment, conviction, and willpower. By changing your beliefs, you can change the way you run your life. Just think what you could accomplish if you could harness your beliefs. If you could structure your belief to give you that kind of control, using self-discipline to achieve anything you want would become a snap. Images power your beliefs, as well as the doubt that shakes your beliefs. Doubt exists when there's insufficient faith in a belief. Belief exists when there's commitment to accepting something which may not always be provable. I'll prove to you how your mind represents a belief in doubt. Right now, call to mind one of your very strong beliefs. It might be religious, or it might have to do with personal ethics or the way you do business. Try to get a visual image of that belief and what it's done for you in the past. You might recall something that you prayed for that came to pass, or a situation in which ethics really paid off for you. Or maybe you believe in the concept of liberty, symbolized by the Statue of Liberty. Now try to picture something that you doubt. This should be something that could or could not be true. You may not even be sure. You might think of extraterrestrial beings and symbolize them in your mind with a picture of a flying saucer. Now notice the visual differences in the pictures that represent your belief and your doubt. You probably see the belief picture as big. It should be very detailed, bright, and colorful. The picture of what you doubt is probably much smaller, fuzzy, and maybe even in black and white only. If you pay attention to your emotional and physical processes, you'll probably notice that when you're visualizing an important belief, you breathe calmly and deeply. Your hands may get warmer as the blood flow increases in your body. When you experience doubt, you may find yourself stressed. Your breathing will become more shallow, and your hands possibly colder and more clammy. This is one of the reasons why people who believe in something are so much more courageous than those in doubt. Belief tends to make us brave to the point that we'll even give our lives because of the things we believe in. Think of the power you'd have to do something like losing weight or completing a report if you believed from the start that you could do it. All along, you'd approach the goal from a position of ability instead of doubt. And that belief in your own ability will do wonders for your self-discipline. The great thing about belief is that it's always a choice. You can choose beliefs that limit you, or you can choose those beliefs that create power in your life. The important step here is to choose beliefs that create power for you. Let's say you want to stop smoking, but you've tried and been unsuccessful at least 3 times. You've always told yourself you can stop, but the reason you had trouble was the way you applied self-discipline and your belief about your self-discipline. Did you believe from the start that you could accomplish your goal? Did you actually open the door to success in your mind? Give it some thought. Then use the next exercise to try to change the way you approach your goal of being smoke-free, or any goal for that matter. List the outcome you'd like to achieve, and under it, write down all the things you know about yourself that will help turn this outcome into reality. As you list those things about yourself, think about whether you have the determination and drive to complete your task, especially if you remind yourself of these positive traits. Chances are you do. All you need to do is strengthen this supportive internal belief. Forget about the things that you think will hold you back. concentrate on your abilities to succeed in this area. Then review this list every time you doubt your ability to finish the task. This will help shore up your belief in yourself and your ability to reach your goal. Here's another step for you. As you list those positive traits in your mind, see yourself applying them to your outcome. As you list those traits or actions that will support your outcome, make a picture of each. Thoughts about these supportive actions should be large, bright, and vivid. Any negative thoughts should be dim, black, and small. That will reduce the effect of doubt. But how do we reduce it altogether? There is a way, but first you have to understand where your beliefs come from. Your beliefs don't happen because someone hits you in the head one day telling you what you can and can't believe. Beliefs come from 4 very tangible sources. They come from, number 1, your surroundings. Number 2, what you discover intellectually. Number 3, from your experiences. And number 4, from your hopes and expectations. Let's look at the sources of your beliefs one by one. First, your surroundings. You've no doubt learned that your childhood experiences have a great effect on your success later in life. If you grew up in a lower middle-class neighborhood, it might be hard for you to experience great wealth in your life. This is simply due to the belief that you may have grown up with that just paying the bills is a struggle. But if your name was DuPont, Rockefeller, or Rothschild, your expectations and beliefs would be quite different. You'd be uncomfortable worrying about paying bills because your parents never did. But it works the other way too. If someone were plucked out of the slums of New York and put into Buckingham Palace, they'd probably be even more uncomfortable than a DuPont who's worried about paying a few bills. I spoke about the fear of success. You know the origins of this fear. It's manifested in a belief you have about yourself that allows this fear to limit you. Here's a question for you. Are the outcomes you desire consistent with the surroundings you experienced when you grew up? If they're not, can you cope with the differences in lifestyle that these outcomes might bring? If you're a salesperson trying to make more money, do you believe that you can cope with the changes that greater wealth brings? Do you believe that you really want the money and greater wealth? You're probably answering an enthusiastic yes. But Shakespeare once said, "Beware of what you want, because you just may get it." If you don't really believe that you can make a 6-figure income, you'll sabotage your self-discipline in your attempts to get it. To see if your belief is compatible with this goal of making more money, do a future belief check. In your mind, see a visual representation of your outcome. Now see an image of yourself with that outcome. You're doing this to determine whether or not you think you deserve your outcome. How vivid can you make that picture? Is it bright? Is it large? Try to remember the characteristics of that belief. If it isn't bright, vivid, large, and colorful, this outcome may not be consistent with your beliefs, and you need to either change the outcome or change your belief. The second source of your beliefs is your intellect. Here's how to use your intellect to check your beliefs. Take the same outcome you used in the last example. See the picture in your mind and check it to see if you believe you're intelligent enough to achieve that outcome. If your outcome is to complete college, do you believe you're sharp enough to get good grades? Your friends know that you are, but do you know it? You might see yourself with a graduation gown on or an armload of books. Apply the check for the vividness, brightness, and size of the image. The third source of your beliefs is your experience. If you've been very successful in achieving things in the past, you'll likely be successful achieving in the future. But if you've experienced stumbling blocks or limitations in the past, you may find it very difficult to change. However, it's not impossible. Let's try the belief check again. Imagine yourself with your outcome again, and next to it, envision a past success. Then try to see the outcome is completed shored up by your experience of the past. Is that picture vivid, large, and well-defined? Will your past experience give you the self-confidence and know-how you need to succeed in the future to get this specific outcome? The picture and its characteristics will give you a good idea of the answer. The fourth source of your beliefs is your hopes and expectations of the future. Unless you hope very strongly for something, this is one of the hardest ways to develop strong beliefs. That's because there are so few tangible things on which to base future expectations, except for faith. You probably have a belief right now that when you go to work tomorrow, you'll have a good day. Being able to develop future beliefs that you'll be successful are the lifeblood of commission businesses like sales. Take a few minutes now and write down 5 of your beliefs that are based on future hopes and expectations. Next, put a check mark next to those beliefs which would support you in achieving a goal you set for yourself. Then perform the belief check we've already outlined. If your goal is to get an MBA, a belief that would support that goal might be knowing that you're able to learn quickly and have a desire to gain knowledge. If your goal is to get enough money to buy a house, your belief might be that you possess the ability to save money and don't need to live from paycheck to paycheck. Take a few moments now and write down those beliefs and others which will help you support the goal which you want to achieve. One of the problems in understanding the power and strength of beliefs is that they can be self-sabotaging. By listing your beliefs and looking at their relationship to your goals, you'll discover that some of those beliefs simply don't support your goals. In fact, they may hold you back. Beliefs and goals have to be in harmony. If they are, you'll be able to work miracles.